Hey there, Knicks fans. We are so excited to announce that Fanatics Fest is back in New York City this summer, taking over the Jacob Javits Center from Thursday, July 16th to Sunday, July 19th. You can meet your favorite athletes from every major league, including current Knicks like Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson, and Karl-Anthony Towns, and the legend, my guy, Patrick Ewing. Catch live podcasts and panels featuring some of the biggest names in sports while experiencing interactive activations from top leagues and brands. You could also grab exclusive merch and discover one-of-a-kind memorabilia from sports and entertainment, buy, sell, and trade collectibles with hundreds of top dealers, and best of all, connect with fans from around the world who share your passion for sports. Tickets are on sale now at fanaticsfest.com, and when you use that promo code KnicksFilm10 at checkout, you will get 10% off your purchase. How about that? It's an extra day of the world's #1 sports fan festival coming together under one roof, and you will not want to miss it.
Been that long? You want to try that again outside after school, you punk? After school, baby. After school, just meet me after school. After school, baby. After school, just meet me after school. After school, baby. After school,
What's good, family? Welcome to another edition of KFS After School on the Knicks Film School YouTube channel, where we talk about the Knickerbockers, the week that was and the week that is to be. My name is Jeff J. Joining me is your guy, Shawn with a W. Shout out to the chat, all the people joining us live. Replay gang, I see you in the past, and I welcome your comments in the future. These Knickerbockers, Shawn, 4 in a row. We had to put some super glue on the sky, but it looks like it ain't falling too tough. First of all, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good, especially after a win, especially after 4 straight wins. You know, we are approaching them thangs territory. Shout out to I Hate Shawn.
I think we're already there. Once you get to 3, you're in the them thangs territory.
Them thangs territory. I believe the number is 5. Like that's when Shawn goes 5 of them things, and that is when I change my profile name to Shawn with a WWWWW. I wait till 5.
I love it.
I've gotten to 9, never gotten to 10, but maybe this year I'll get to 10. But
gotten close,
gotten to 9 a few times. But you know, I'm feeling good. Besides the fact that it is every morning I wake up, it is between 6 and 9 degrees in the New York metropolitan area, so that's annoying. But don't worry, summer's coming. That's what I keep telling myself. That's what I tell myself actually when we hit the winter solstice. Guys, I tell my son, you know what? The days ain't getting any shorter from this point on. But yeah, I'm feeling good. The Knicks are feeling good, especially after that win last night, which is unlike a win I have seen this team pull off in a very long time.
There's few games that leave me speechless or quarters for a good reason. Last night was one of them. You know how people say, I'm tired of living in unprecedented times? I'd love to live in precedented times for a change.
Yes.
That's how I felt about this team the whole month, where it just felt like things couldn't get worse. We didn't know which team was going to show up. And then they just decide to wake up one day and say, enough is enough, and we're going to start rattling out wins. But to see a momentum shift like I did in that third quarter, where I was just saying to myself, just stop turning the ball over. Yeah, nobody can hit a shot. Everybody's off. But don't give them additional opportunities to score or to clank. Whatever. You're stopping your own flow on offense, and you're giving them more opportunities to score on the other side. Just stop turning the ball over. Shout out to my guy, Joe Got Game, who was talking about it as well. He was like, yo, if we could just stop turning the ball over, this game is a wrap. And I was like, yeah, I think they can win. I didn't think they would obliterate the Raptors and send them running out of Scotiabank Arena looking like they just forgot how to play basketball for the whole rest of the game. Like, it was a dominant performance that I don't even know if the December Knicks have done, like the way this team did it last night.
No, I tweeted after the game, this is why I can't quit this team. And this is why last week, even though the sky was falling, it was blow up the team, trade everybody, this is a wrap, they're not good enough. Oh, Boston's better than them. Here come the Raptors. Here come the Cavs. And I was like, I have just seen this team, when it wants to, lock in and say, it's over. Like, you've seen Shutters. Have you ever seen Shutters, Jeff, the movie?
Of course.
Yes. There's a scene in there where Sprague-Man says to Max Dunham, and then he just like that's what happened last night. And Mikal Bridges in the post game, and we'll get to his post game comments in a second, said so as much. He said, I think the term he used, like, we felt like they're getting punked. And at that point, they flipped the switch. Something God mode got activated. Shout out to the tribal chief. And they put their foot on their neck, and they did not let it go. Like, winning a game by 27 points that you were down 11 with 8 minutes to go in the third quarter is insane. Like, insane. That they didn't win by 10. They won with 20 minutes left in that game. They were down 11 and they won by 27.
Bro, this team is hilarious, man. They some funny guys. They're just some funny guys. And it's the type of funny, we all have that one friend. They walk in the room and you just start smiling and shaking your head because you know something egregious is about to go down. They about to annoy you. They about to piss you off, but you're going to be laughing one way or another, even if you don't want to laugh. How do you have an uninspiring 16-point win at home the night before, and then on a second game of the back-to-back, have your grittiest win of the season where you blow out the team by 27? What is this team, bro? What is this team?
They have the ability. And what did I say last week? When people wonder why are they playing, and then people had the NBA Cup or all these other reasons or whatever. I'm like, no, they're just playing like assholes. That's what they're choosing to play like assholes. And when they choose not to play like assholes, this is it. This team, I've paid attention to a lot of teams this year. Does any team have a higher ceiling and a lower floor than this one in the NBA?
No.
And then, granted, I saw Oklahoma City get clapped by Charlotte by like 20 at home, but that is a glitch in the matrix, if you ask me. But when the Knicks get clapped at home by the Mavs, the worst part about that loss was that it didn't surprise anyone. It wasn't like, I don't understand how this happened. We all knew how it happened. So it was refreshing to just see them again. This is the dog days of March, the dog days of January, to say, you know what, we're gonna kick your ass today, because to the point where Josh is hitting threes and on the sideline.
Yo,
but I don't know,
dude. That 27-4 third quarter run was an out-of-body experience. I feel like they stopped thinking and they just started hooping. They just did whatever they wanted. Like, if they had an idea of what they wanted to do on the court, they made it happen. There was like a sequence where OG got back-to-back blocks and deflections, and it started a fast break that ended up with either a layup or a three. And it was that one stretch, like going towards the end of the quarter, where every defensive play was a highlight. Like, they just kept putting up highlights and highlights and highlights. And when Cat did the offensive board off the Shamit miss and threw it behind his back, Bridges, I was like, oh yeah, everybody's feeling these. Like, game is over. If you're hooping outside, if you're hooping at the park or at the gym, it's like, After that play, you just start, even if the game ain't over, you just start dapping everybody up. All right, who got next? If y'all are doing this, it's over. It pack it up. That's game. That was like a game point. Good luck to whoever got next type move. That's when I knew they were making a statement. This wasn't just we decided to wake up. It's we're awake now, and we're putting whoever we would have put on notice. And I don't know if it's, hey, listen, it's cold in New York, but it's cold other places. It's cold in Milwaukee right now. Maybe folks don't want to go there. I mean, bro, after the game, shout out to my guy, Tyler Murray, him and Clyde, they having a therapy session with Mikal Bridges. He admitting stuff. He's offering up raw, authentic criticism of himself.
Yes.
He's
although I have theory about that.
Okay, we can do that. But I'm
ahead.
just saying, it was just the transparency of it all. Everybody, total team effort. It was just hilarious. It's only this team, bro. Only this team. And I would not fault even the most staunch pro make a deal to get Giannis in the door person is having a bit of second thoughts right now.
Listen, I think Mikal Bridges was like, Portland, nah, son. And OG was like, Milwaukee, do you know who He's like, listen, I already went to school in the Midwest. I ain't going back.
Nope. Not at all.
So let me see if I could pull up the actual quote from Mikal Bridges after the game, the exact quote. But New York. Okay, here we go. He says he's speaking on working to be more coachable, attributed some of his struggles to a sense of entitlement. Actually, shout out to New York basketball. I knew they'd have it. He said, I think I wasn't coachable enough. I don't know. Maybe I felt too entitled. Had to talk to myself, be coachable, be the best teammate I could be. Let the basketball speak for itself. I don't think he was talking about himself.
That's a prevailing theory. He's narrating for somebody else.
And during the post game, when John read that, and John was like, oh, that's great. I'm paraphrasing what John said, but John commended Mikal for, being introspective and being accountable, which was great, whatever, right? And a super chatter wrote in and said, and I'm paraphrasing for the super chatter, but he said, that don't sound like something Mikal Bridges will say. I think that was directed or someone else. And John is like, really? Really? Who do you think? And he generally didn't know. And I immediately texted John. I was like, "Oh, I thought that was for Cat off the rip." I was like, "Off," and John was like, "Okay." Like, and then, but I thought, listen, this team has been subbing Karl-Anthony Towns for like 2 weeks. And, between the Josh Hart interview and the interview, the Josh Hart at practice, the comments, this thing, the I even think when Jalen was like, when they call the players only meeting, that wasn't a players only meeting, the players only gathering, and he was like, yo, we've got to stop looking at the coaches, we gotta look in the mirror. Yo, there's something, it's all for this dude. They summoned this dude.
Either they all talking about a bunch of mirrors somebody put them onto, or they're all focusing on someone's mirror. Whose mirror they talking to? They saying each other, but are they talking about? Yeah, I mean that's an interesting theory, because I don't know why Mikal wouldn't be coachable unless them trade rumors got to everybody and maybe he was feeling a little bit rebellious.
So I think that's a good segue, because
nothing else on the Raptors before we move on?
Yes. Well, I have some stuff for the Raptors. We'll get to that later. But
okay,
I'll say this about the Raptors. The phrase I've been using all season about these teams are, they are who we thought they were. It's like, and to bring up, it's ironic that we're talking about the Raptors, because the perfect quote is when LeBron said about the Raptors in either 14 or 15, when they asked him about, that in one of those playoff series against the Raptors, and he says, I've been in a lot of, no, the Raptors tied up the series 2-2, and he's like, I've been in a lot of high pressure situations, and this ain't one of them. Like, of course we know the Knicks can lose any game because, again, super low, high ceiling, lowest floor. I'm not surprised that they beat them bloody the way they did, because I've always thought the Raptors are a flawed team. And shout out to Darko. I'm not gonna pronounce his last name because I'll butcher it. Their head coach, who has done a very good job, because I was like, there's just too many guys who need the ball, and there's only one of them, and it's gotten to work. But as Andrew pointed out on the watch along last night, they're excellent in transition, turnovers, get out and run, score, whatever. But in the half court, then it's like you got RJ, you got BI, Scotty Barnes, Roar. Like in the half court, they're not a great shooting team. They take the bottom 10 in the league in threes. Like Raptors fans, if there are any Raptors fans watching, and I doubt there are, but there are, the last thing you want to do is think this is a false dawn and think, oh, we got something here, because everyone thought they'd be like 9th, 10th, 11th playing. And now they're 4th or 5th. But
they're 4th now.
They're 4th, right? And honestly, I think Cleveland's going to catch them, right? So, I think the best thing for the Raptors is like, okay, they'll be in the playoffs and then they get smoked, because the last thing they want to do is win a playoff series and think they're close and think they're a play away, because they can't. Because again, especially in the playoffs, and the game slows down in the half court, it's not going to benefit them. So I wasn't surprised that the Knicks put belt to ass yesterday, because they're a fundamentally flawed team.
Yeah, I mean, even with those flaws, I got to give it up to them for being in the top 4 in the East, which is something I did not foresee. I think ironically, they've had enough time together where they have been able to figure each other out and get those wins and get some gritty wins. I mean, didn't they beat OKC the other day?
They beat them on Sunday.
Yeah.
In Oklahoma City.
I mean, that's looking like a free win nowadays, which is crazy. I mean, it's like, damn, is the East OKC's kryptonite right now? What's going on? But they have ways at which they can win, but I think it's a specific ways. They don't have multiple ways to beat you. If they're not turning you over and they're not getting out in transition, it's pretty much a wrap. If you want to talk about a team that really needs a reliable second scorer, you're probably talking about Toronto. The other crazy thing is, I don't know when we turned the clock back to 2011, but boy, between Brandon Ingram and DeMar DeRozan, I've been in heaven, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I'm like, damn, I missed the middies, bro. I missed the middies. Like they restoring the feeling right now.
Yeah. DeMar DeRozan, just like 20 years. I don't know how long he's been in the league. 27 years. Still getting 8. Listen, he gets to 18 feet away and it's cash.
You need somebody, a bucket off the bench for the playoffs that can get you, for him, high percentage shots. And telling you,
I think on his next contract, I think that's his future. Like, come off the bench, give us
ring
like 15.
chase.
Play basketball.
I don't say that as a negative.
Like your next contract. Like when your next contract ends,
high level role player.
Be a high level role player. Like he can help a team win. So I mean that's all for Toronto. Segue into speaking specifically about one player against Toronto who had more offensive rebounds than points last night, and Mr. Karl-Anthony Towns. Well, he had 6. I don't know if he got to 8. He might have gotten to 8, but he had 7 offensive rebounds and 22 rebounds total, including 14 in the first half, which is insane. 8 points. Okay, so he had 8 points. 8 points, 22. That's a Mitch stat line I've ever seen one. Bruh. 8 points, 22 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block. Thank you, betting and sweating. And I actually did not pick. So I picked Cat to have 1 block for my best bet for betting and sweating, because I vacillated between blocks and his rebounds over. But I said, you know what? Something told me that like he might still be in a bit of a funk, and I don't know if I want to make a bet that the funk will prevent him. Like I don't want to make this bet and then he has 8 rebounds because he just like look at the floor of his head down, act like E or whatever, right? But he fought through it. But then we get the news that, and I'll read this. I'll read this verbatim. That this morning there was an article in The Athletic that said, I just had this in front of me. That Karl-Anthony Towns still has hard feelings toward the Knicks to this day due to Giannis Antetokounmpo rumors per Sam Amick. And a quote from the Athletic article: just ask the Knicks, whose talks with the Bucks about Antetokounmpo last summer led to hard feelings with Karl-Anthony Towns that, per team sources, remain to this day. That's a double doozy that every team seeks to avoid. The failure to land a player they're pursuing that is followed by a step backward relationship-wise with the player who learned he was nearly sent packing in the process. I'll say this, and I'll throw it to you, Jeff. When it's not like, and this confirms something that I know me and you already knew, and I hope a lot of people thought. I think it's clear now that one of the reasons why Karl has been playing so well is because of these rumors, and he hasn't been able to deal with them. And when he hits some adversity, these rumors, the scuttlebutt can really rip a team apart in terms of when one of your best players is affected. On one hand, it's easy for me to say like buck up, it's a business. On the other hand, I understand it's a human being, but now that this is out, now it's on Karl to be like, hey, yes, they tried to trade you. I'm sorry. They tried to trade you for a player they thought for one of the 25 best players of all time. Maybe if you were one of the 25 best players of all time, they wouldn't want to trade you. But here we are. And again, I'm sympathetic to the fact that players, who could literally wake up one morning and be working in a city hundreds or thousands of miles away. But this wasn't a surprise to me at all. And I think this confirmed what we already knew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you. It all makes sense now. And I'm sympathetic towards it because like my guy Jay Nicky said, it's kind of hard to perform at your job when you see the LinkedIn post for your position up every day.
Yes.
And your boss is the one that's posting it.
Yes.
It's difficult. Like I see comments talking about, actually I'll get this one up. Cats just got to man up and deal with the trade rumors. Remember last year when the rumors about Mitch were circulating? Look how Mitch responded. His game was totally unfazed. Well, his game was totally unfazed because he didn't play.
And he didn't play till Yes, he didn't play till March.
He didn't play. That's why his game was totally unaffected. He didn't play. He was on the sidelines past the trade deadline. And when he came back after, there was nothing to do but hoop. But
and Mitch's job is like we're all still not defending on Mitch for points. And the other thing is like Mitch, it comes down to personality, and that's why I'm sympathetic to Karl, because like Mitch doesn't care about this. Like Mitch has been in trade rumors. Mitch has been approaching free agency, injured, like all these things. Like if anyone who has, like, it should be guys like Mitchell Robinson who are like, you know what, I don't know, like my next contract is coming from guy who's had injury issues, and who knows how long his career is. So on one hand, I think that point from Jay Nicky is great. Like if you see your boss, well, your boss's boss, or your boss's boss's boss is posting,
whoever can control your destiny at a job.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's like not playing well isn't going to help. Like,
well, it depends.
No.
Maybe you could take your trade value. So people don't want to mess with you.
I think that we have seen this season from Karl-Anthony Towns has been a amalgamation of a new offense, which he doesn't like his role. His relationship with the coach is not where is not in an ideal place. And he's been on trade rumors since July. And again, like the very first time, think about the very first time that we, as the non-insider media, heard about this secret negotiating window, negotiating period that the Knicks had. That was like October, November-ish. These agents find this out way before.
Right.
Way before. And they tell their players. And then it's like, all right. And certain people handle it differently. But to bring everything full circle, I said earlier, like, this team has the guile, the strength, the toughness to fight through these adverse situations because we've seen them do it before. And this is why shout out to Jason M, who has said that he didn't recognize his team last night. This is a gritty win similar to the old Tibbs teams, which I agree. But the other thing is, whenever people would say, like, when they would have a bad loss, is like, oh, they should have been tough. Tibbs is still that toughness. Like, no. These dudes were tough before Tibbs got here. Like, Jalen Brunson is a 5'11" point guard who's made the NBA, is now all NBA. You don't get there by not being tough. You know? Like, Josh Hart was thrown into every superstar trade for years and went from LA to Portland to in no particular order. He played in LA, he played in New Orleans, he played in Portland. Like and he's a 6'4" guard that out rebounds 7-footers all the time, who was the last pick of the first round of the draft. Like, guys like that are not, you can't tell me that like they weren't tough before they got to the league, right? Like, they have the ability. And I think the part that is the biggest obstacle right now is Karl, in the sense of he's not handling this well. And again, I have empathy for him for not handling it well. But now I think it's like, but you know what? When you're winning, all right, you want to pout, you want to not run the offense, you want to be in fake drop, you want to, badmouth the coach. I'm sure he badmouths the coach behind his back all the time, whatever. When you're winning and you get the NBA Cup and they cut you a check for $500,000, it's cool. But when you're losing, when things go left, people don't rise to the occasion. They sink to their level of training. And I think now what you're seeing between these comments from Mikal and Josh saying, not just Josh saying like, I want to see more blocks, whatever. Like, Josh telling him to get up when he's on the floor. And Brunson, like, I personally believe that they like Karl-Anthony Towns as a person. I don't think they hate him, but I also think they're like, enough. Like, enough. And now it's on to Karl to decide how he wants to go about it. How does he want to deal with this? Does he want to do what he's always done? Because if he does that, he'll get what he's always gotten.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. This is the nature of the beast. I totally get it. You had your home in Minnesota. You wasn't really trying to leave, and you felt betrayed because they got you out of there. And what was effectively a salary dump for a salary dump, and rolling the dice on 2 all-star level players to see what they could do. And now you feel like you've established a home in your home, and they want to get rid of you. Trust when I say 85%, 90% of this league would be up for sale if the top 10% of players were made available.
95%.
You could even go as far as 95%. If certain people, if SGA went on the market right now, there's a lot of folks who might think they're comfortable that wouldn't be. And they're not having the season that you're having.
Yes.
So it just is what it is. And this is something that's in your control. Because if you were playing like that type of player, then this wouldn't even be a question. So now I think he does have the ability to right the ship, to progress back to the mean and get back to his numbers. I mean, we're going to, at NBA Takedown, we're going to talk about our reserves for the East and the West. And, just to talk about it real quick, I do think that although Cat has had a down year, he still had an all-star year, which just speaks to his level of ability, especially in the East. Like when you look at the numbers and look at everything, it's like, bro, he was probably averaging 5 to 6 more points, getting the same-ish amount of rebounds last year. It's just that part of his game that's fell off. Everything else has been relatively the same. So I don't think that it's a far jump to say that he can regain that form. And I think that what's even more important is that he is supporting his team. You saw it against Sacramento. You saw it last night. He's up. He's cheering. He's getting engaged in all of the banter and the commentary and all of that. Like, he's being a good teammate. I think he does want to win. And I think he can't wait until February 6th or February 5th at 4 o'clock. I think that man cannot wait, because once the teams are locked, for better or worse, this is your squad and this is how we moving forward. I predict that if they don't trade him, which I don't think they are, you're going to see the resurgence.
So I was going to ask you, on Super Bowl Sunday, is Karl-Anthony Towns a New York Knick? And it seems
man.
Like the answer is
they're
yes.
not making a major trade. I'll go all record as saying that they're not making a major trade. If that game last night, I do not believe is fool's gold. I believe that is the team when they want to play as the way they want to play. And mind you, we didn't even mention no Mitch, no Deuce, second game of a back-to-back on the road. I do not care if it's a 45-minute flight.
I don't care.
It's an international flight, technically.
Not technically, it's an international flight.
It's like, you cool 45 minutes and now you're in another country. It is what it is. But second game of a back-to-back, traveling after you play at home, which meant at home, you shower, you change, you talk to the media, and then y'all head right to the plane and y'all go into Toronto.
Yes.
So second game of the back-to-back, Josh Hart was questionable. His ankle was barking, and Jalen Brunson had some type of illness. Despite all of that, they went out there, and you could tell they could have folded that up at any point and just gave that game to the Raptors and not feel bad about themselves because they were dealing with so much physical and mental and personnel adversity, but they dug deep and they got that win. I do think that team and the December Knicks are the New York Knicks. And to me, I don't know how you feel, Shawn. To me, if that is the squad, if that's the real New York Knicks, you don't make this trade now. You make the marginal trades to get better where you need, and you roll the dice. And you roll the dice like you were rolling it to start the season.
I think this team, and this is why I still believe, I never wavered that, like, if they play Detroit, they won't beat Detroit. If they play Cleveland, they'll beat Cleveland. If they play Boston, they can beat Boston. Like, it's why I've never wavered, because to your point, the December Knicks and what we saw last night, that is a team you're going to see in April and May. Because we saw it last year. When the chips are down, they're like, all right, let's go get it. And they did that until they couldn't anymore. But again, one of the reasons why, I've said it before. I said if it boils my blood every time I hear someone say the Pistons almost beat them last year. And I'm like, the Pistons were never going to beat this team last year. And they ain't going to beat them this year. Because ironically, like, we saw how Toronto struggled yesterday in half-court offense against a team that turned it up, the intensity on both sides of the ball, turned up the defensive intensity, right? And that's a team with two legitimate bucket getters in RJ and Brandon Ingram, a third guy who can score in Emmanuel Quickly, and a fourth dude in Scotty Barnes, who might be an all-star this year. But I was supposed to be afraid of Detroit and their one guy who can score? Like, come on, man. Like, this team ceiling is still super duper high. It was foolish to say what do we say all month, Jeff, on these shows? Like, championships are not won or lost in January.
Exactly.
Like, we played the clip from Sam Presti when he was like, everyone, there's 1 or 2 points of the season where the sky is falling and the season's over. How do you get through it? Here's the Knicks version of that. And they should get through it. We have a super chat. We have 2 super chats. Thanks. Shout out to y'all.
Yeah,
I'll read the first one. You can get the second one, Jeff.
All right.
Josh from Texas, thank you for your generous contribution. I'm confused. Wasn't reports this past summer all about unlocking Cat? Then we have these reports of front office wanted to trade him. So is any blame on Knicks and how they are handling their highest paid guy? So what I would say to that is the difference between reports and what the team said. Reports are media members, reporters, column guys saying like, yeah, they should unlock Cat. I didn't hear Leon Rose say that. I didn't hear Gerson Rosas say that. I didn't hear Mike Brown say that. Like, it's just been this scuttlebutt for years about how to quote unquote unlock Cat. And honestly, at some point, unlocking Cat starts with Cat. As opposed now, in terms of the front office wanting to trade him, listen, if one of the 10 best players in the league comes available, you're telling me I can't look into trading them because I might hurt my players' feelings?
And it's not just that, Shawn. One of the 10 best players on the planet becomes available for a trade and says, I want to go to that team. I don't want to go anywhere else but your team.
Yes. I want to play there.
What you going to do? Say, nah, we're good. We're good, man. We're good. You can't.
I would call you, but somebody might find out and hurt somebody's feelings. We can't like
you have
what
those
do you
discussions, bro.
Like you gotta have these you gotta have these talks. You know what would piss me? If they didn't have the talks. If they're like, yo, we're good. Like, you have to at the bare minimum, you have a meeting and you're like, all right. Like, if a team comes to you and says, hey, like, imagine if the Lakers were like, I would entertain this Luka Doncic thing, but we might hurt Anthony Davis' feelings if he finds out. So you know what? We're good. Like Cat is not the first top 20 player in the league who's been in the trade block, and he won't be the last. Like you said, Jeff, if 10% of the top 10% of the league were available, 90% of the league would be on the trade block. I'll go a step further. If the top 5%, if the top 10% of the league was available for trade, 95% of the league will be on the trade block because some motherfuckers in that top 10% will be traded for those people in that top 5%. Like, some people thought they'd shit those things. Like, oh, wait, what? Like, yeah, like, God, we got like Leon Rose should be trying to make this team better. And if we have a 2-year championship window, and again, if one of the 25 best players in his prime is available, you got to have a conversation.
But at the same time, you also can't blow this thing up completely to where you're just left with standardized parts, man. We lived through that with the Melo trade, and I enjoyed Melo's years. I'm happy that he became a Knick. But even Melo years later talked about the trade and said, hey, fellas, y'all can't trade everybody to get me. Y'all got to leave something. Even he said it before the trade, and obviously they didn't listen. But even he said it. If y'all are trading for me, you can't trade the whole team because then who am I going to play with?
Yes.
Right? That, like, some of the trade machine atrocities that I've seen on the timeline, someone suggested, well, maybe you keep Cat and trade away Wingstop. Then I saw one where it was Cat, Wingstop, and Deuce goes out. Well, what are we doing here?
Playing 2K. That's what they're doing. That's
what I'm saying. And I'm like, yo, it is more about trades are more than matching salary.
Yes.
It's more than inputting figures into an algorithm and hoping that it compiles, for my computer science majors, hoping that it compiles, and then it spits out a result or tells you this trade is successful. I think that would destroy the chemistry that we already think is a little shaky now. I think it would destroy it. I don't think you'd have enough horses. You immediately become a win within the next year and a half, or you're cooked team.
Mm-hmm.
You increase the average age of this team by about 5 years, especially if you're talking about the Giannis, Drew Holiday. And I get it. I know what the Raptors did with Kawhi. I also think that was a totally different situation.
Yes.
Because they had a lot more left. I mean, OG, he had like an appendicitis or something like that and couldn't play in the finals or something like that.
He missed the playoffs.
He missed the playoffs. OG missed the playoffs, and they still had enough to beat that Warriors team that, albeit was injured, but you get it, how you get them, how you lose them, right? Golden State. So that's, or you lose them how you get them. I say all of that to say, if they want Giannis to be a part of this team, they have to do it when it makes the most financial and economic sense in basketball terms, which means you have the most unlocked to be able to trade. You can involve multiple partners, and you can use the time, which would be the offseason, to craft a competent, competitive team around your main guys. I just don't think that's it. And this is part of the reason why these front offices get paid the big bucks, right? You also have to be content that if that player goes somewhere else, we're good. We're good, and we're going to roll with what we roll up. Because what do they say, Shawn, all the time? There's always a star player that is ready to ask out. Yep. You just won't know when. And we've had to hear that for years and years and years. We heard that after the Knicks made the Bridges trade. They should have held on. Even after they went to the conference finals, they should have held another year with Randall. And if they did, then they would have been able to get Giannis. I don't know, man. I don't know. What I do know is you have to take advantage of the opportunities that you see. And I totally understand the allure of Giannis. But at the same time, I truly think you don't lose anything, really, if you go with this team and do what you meant to do in the beginning of the season. What do you really lose? What do you really lose? The opportunity at Giannis? Who knows who's going to ask out next? And you still have one of the best teams in the league. And anything can happen. Look what's happening with Houston. Steven Adams out for the season. Van Vliet didn't make the season.
Yep.
Anything can happen. So, I don't know, man. I've had a Giannis agenda for the last 3 years, and even me, I have to confront my own agenda and say, this ain't the time.
Listen, I don't think the problem is the time. I think the problem is it is a time in terms of the Knicks can make a bid deal in the summer than they can now.
That's what I mean. What I mean.
And to all the people who are like, it really grinds my gears when I hear people say, like, you just got to get Giannis whatever it takes. These are the same people who probably said, get Melo whatever it takes, and then turn around and say, Melo ain't had no help. Look at the team that's built around him. I was like, well, like, these things have these decisions have unintended consequences. You have to consider them all. Thank you, Josh.
I will say I don't think Leon would have amnestied Chauncey Billups. But that's a story.
That's another story for another day. All right. Thank you, Josh from Texas. Next up, go ahead, Jeff.
I hear y'all. Oh, Mr. Forever Fly, thank you so much for the super chat, my brother. I hear y'all, but I don't like how the front office handles this because they are familiar with Cat's personality. Bro.
What are they supposed to do?
Yo, it's not show friends, my G. It's show business. This is the nature of the business. Yo, bro, Milwaukee hit Leon's line and said, yo, y'all trying to get Giannis? Think about Pelinka and them. Nico was like, yo, meet me at this smoothie shop real quick. Just want to chat. Just want to talk. And so he's going through seeing his man like, yo, what's good? You in town? Blah, blah, blah. He's like, yo, all right, so I'm trying to trade Luka. What y'all want? I want AD. I'm trying to trade Luka. And Pelinka probably laughed in his face. All right, whatever. And he's like, no, I'm saying word. Say word. You dead ass? I'm dead ass. Yes. No jokes. We need to trade him. Like that. They didn't care about AD's personality. Luka Doncic?
So
you got to make it happen. Like when those players come up, You have to have the conversation. And of course, it's going to leak. I think you handle it like businessmen. If he has an issue, you go talk and you say, yo, bro, we got to do our due diligence. We have to.
I'm glad you brought up the Luka trade, because one of the biggest underlying storylines from that trade was the fact that Nico went to Rob Pelinka and said, don't tell anybody, keep it quiet, because he knew, to your point, he knew that if it got out, it would, the entire league would look at him and be like, you want to trade Luka? And then Lord knows how Luka would have took it, right? But in doing that, Nico ultimately cost himself his job, because, as I've said all the time, the concept of trading Luka Doncic to me isn't this absolutely positively untouchable realm that you cannot cross, but the return has to be amazing. The return wasn't amazing. And part of the reason the return wasn't amazing is because Nico Harrison chose one team to negotiate with and told them, don't tell nobody. So there's no way there's no way the Bucks are going to, the Bucks don't care about cat things.
No.
Now, we do know that things don't leak from the Knicks front office. They don't leak anything. If you hear any reports about what the Knicks are thinking from sources, it doesn't come from the Knicks. It comes from the teams that are having the conversation with the Knicks. So, for example, someone on the Bucks can say, "Oh, we spoke to the Knicks." They tell their source or whatever. But in the day, like you said, it's not show friends, it's not show enemies, it's not show companions, it's show business. And sometimes, we are not going to let someone's personality get in the way of making the scene better. To your point, gotta do your due diligence. All right. Next super chat. This one is from Anthony OU812. Thank you for your contribution. You think Brown is gone if they don't get past ECF? If they don't make the finals, is he gone? I know this. If they don't make the conference finals, it's spooky. It's spooky for him. If they, you know what I was going to say? If they lose to, but then again, when I think of all the teams, there's no Boston of last year where it was all right, if you lose to this team, all right, whatever. Or Cleveland, who started 15-0, was all right, lose this team, whatever. Because it's Cleveland who we always punk, and they're in sixth place. I don't care how good Detroit is. We should beat Detroit. And Boston's in a gap year. So, if they don't make the Eastern Conference Finals, listen, if they don't make the Eastern Conference Finals because they lose to the Celtics because Jason Tatum came back and somehow turned into Superman and whatever, then all right. But I don't know if he's around.
You already heard the reports. He's starting to second guess and reevaluate whether or not he wants to come back this season. His body probably told him he was wilding. So
wait a minute, Mike Brown?
No, Jason Tatum.
Oh, Jason Tatum. Oh yeah. Bro, I've never believed he was coming back. I never believed he was
Once
coming
I saw
back.
that, I said, I hope he does what's best for his body, because he could say I'm coming back, but I would hope that more logical heads prevail, and that ain't being shook. Hey.
Say hi, Zach.
Hello.
All right.
What up?
You good? Or you need? Guess who needs to sharpen it? Didn't I buy you a pencil sharpener?
I was about to say, we've had this conversation. This is deja vu. We've had this conversation.
Here you go. But yeah, Jeff, you're right. Tatum should do what's best for his body. As someone who tore his Achilles, I know what that's like. And the idea that 8 months later, and I don't want to hear you're not a professional athlete. You know what I am? I'm a human being. And the idea that tendons still heal the same way, right? So, yeah, the idea that Jason Tatum's going to come back and beat Jason Tatum off the rip is, of course, crazy.
I think circumstances matter. If you got to tell me what happened that they didn't make, I think at the bare minimum, they got to make the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yes, they have to.
Like anything else. I still don't think they're going to fire him because I don't think the Knicks are trying to pay for 2 coaches. Just keeping it real.
I don't think that matters. Dolan don't care.
Hey, man, I think they're trying to put up more spheres, man. You need that bread,
They
bro.
are trying.
So, but yeah, they got to make the Eastern Conference Finals. Like, I don't care about matchups. I don't care about seeding. This team, the way they played, they should at least make the conference finals. And once you get into the conference finals, like I said, if it's circumstantial, if there's injury, if there's like a major controversy, if something like that happens that it's outside of their control for the most part, then maybe. But let's say if they go out of the playoffs like that 9-11 team, I just think you're going to see the Earth 2 version of the Knicks next year because it's going to be something that you don't recognize.
Look, I'm looking at the standings right now. Right now, the season ended today. They'd play Orlando. Is Orlando tough? But like, see, these teams where like physicality is their first, second, and third attributes, they don't win. They don't go far in the playoffs, like without like real offensive, like really good offensive talent. Which is it's not rare, Zach. It's like, well, to the point, you know what, Zach, is not everyone has them. Like I think Wagner's very good. I think Powell's very good. I also think that Powell isn't necessarily the best player on the championship team. You don't get out of here. But these teams that rely on, that's why I don't believe in Detroit, because Detroit's like, we're gonna get into a fight. You know whose game plan was? We're gonna fight every night and we're gonna be tough and be physical. The New York Knickerbockers of 2023 and 2024. Like, at some point, you got to score. You got to have talent. You got to have offense. And Orlando, okay, whatever. I think they'll beat Orlando. Then in the 2-3, they'd get Boston. Why can't they beat Boston 4 out of 7? They got to they got to get to borrow quote from the owner of the team. We got to get to the conference finals this year.
Yeah, like I said, I respect Boston for what they're doing, especially in the quote unquote gap year. But even after the first 2 games they played, I think full team versus full team, and I'm not counting Jason Tatum for this year. And low key, even if he was there, full team versus full team, I just don't think they got it. Matter of fact,
they don't have it.
If the Jaime Jaquez butterfly effect doesn't happen in 2024, I would have loved to see that Knicks team play the Celtics.
Yes.
We were licking our chops, boy. If they would have lost, so be it. But I would have liked to see it. Yes. I would have liked to see it. So yeah, man, I look at it. There's nobody in this bracket that I fear, that I'm like, damn, I hope they don't play. Because I've seen their movies. I've seen them.
And we know how it ends. Thank you, Anthony. One more from Jason M. Go ahead, Jeff.
Thank you, Jason M., for the contribution. Team has talent to win the chip. Chemistry/fit is the question. That is the $1 million question, or the $500,000 question. They solved it in December, though. I tell you that much. They solved it. And that, to me, should be every Knicks fan saving grace. Let's put aside the fact that people continue to downplay what the NBA Cup is, right? Let's put that to the side. It was a league-wide competition where there was single game elimination to get to a championship game. One win for everything. So you were playing game 7 from the quarterfinals on. It was March Madness.
Yes.
Pretty much. It was March Madness, but with professional players. March Madness with professional players. Because you know how people try to say that idiotic college March Madness is better than the NBA playoffs.
Those people are
degenerate gamblers.
Or they have red hats in their
right. They don't want you to tread on them. So they won that. They played a championship game and they won. And they played their best ball during that stretch because something was on the line. So if Knicks fans need a saving grace or something to hold on to, which is nuts to talk about the team that's second in the conference, but if you need something to hold on to, it's the fact that you've seen this team You've seen this team play their best ball, what their best ball looks like, and they didn't even have all their players.
Mm-hmm.
Landry was hurt. Deuce was hurt. They didn't even have their best players. I mean, they didn't even have their whole complement of players. And they made it happen. So I go back to it, man, and I go back to this whole trade talk thing. They should not do anything rash. They shouldn't do anything rash, man. I'm sorry. Unless there is some magical way to do a 1-for-1 swap, which there isn't. Because, I mean, there is.
But
Milwaukee ain't doing that.
No.
Right? Unless there was a magical way to do that, I'm not doing it, man. I just feel like this team was put together based on what we've heard, what was reported, and what we see structurally to have a high playoff ceiling and to use this regular season to figure out how to reach that ceiling. I think you saw the proof of concept during the NBA Cup run, and you see the rewards now. They went through their swoon. We could be talking a month from now about how, wow, you remember when dudes was trying to trade for Giannis? I think that's it. And I think Macri might have said it in his newsletter. This is a situation that I think you take down to the wire. See what it is over the next few games and trust in your data, trust in what you see, and ask the hard questions. They start flaming out. I can't blame them for feeling like, yo, I got to make a move now. But if they're beating these teams, especially all these good teams in front of them, I don't know.
I don't know. Listen, you said it. You said it as well as could be said. At the end of the day, they know what they have to do. It's whether they want to do it or not.
Exactly.
All right. Let's look at some couple things on social media. We don't have any RCE for segment this week. No rage clicker engagement bait this week
because they're all baiting the trade deadline.
Exactly.
they're all baiting the trade deadline, so they've taken a break.
Yes, they're all on Fanspo. But we do have some things I saw on social media which are interesting. Let's go here. We'll start with this tweet from Aldis, and it says, "You are our owner, you are franchise master, our kryptonite. We are your slave." And it's a screenshot. It says the Knicks have a record of 11-0 in their last 11 games against the Raptors, which I did not realize they beat them 11 straight times.
I heard that
until this morning. I was like, wow. But ironically, this do you recognize this screen name, Jeff?
Otis?
Yes.
No.
You remember leading up to the NBA Cup, and there were all these Raptors accounts that was like, yo, belt to ass when we play y'all. And then one of them was like, yo, y'all made me quit. Y'all made me change my username because y'all kept harassing me. That's this guy.
Wow. Oh, yeah. They did it to themselves, man. They did it to themselves. That whole run. I'm telling you, this isn't your early 2000s Knicks. You talk on social about the Knicks. Remember, very smart, intelligent people said that Cade Cunningham was going to be the best player in that series last year.
And
without having played a playoff game.
And here we are. To dig in more into the Raptors a little bit more. I thought of you when I saw this tweet.
Oh.
The Raptors are the 4 seed. The Raptors are, this is from StatMuse, and it says the Raptors are the 4 seed. They are 0-6 versus the teams ahead of them in the East. Jeff, I'm going to take a step back, and the floor is yours.
Oh, no. Nah, I don't hate the Raptors, man. I love Toronto. The Raptors, I got no smoke for the Raptors. I hate it had to be y'all. Welcome to hell, family. Welcome to hell. You are now 0-6 against the top teams in the conference. But I somehow have a funny feeling that this narrative won't follow you this season. People are just going to let it cook. They're just going to let it cook. Every time you play a national game, you're not going to hear this stat. Anytime you face one of those teams, this stat will never show up again.
Well,
you think? Well, you know what?
Well, we play them one more time. So if we beat them again, Uh, this could show up. The other thing is, so shout out to my homegirl Lele, big time Raptors fan. She hosts Raptors Cookout with me and Zazu, and she replied to this tweet, said delete this, and I replied, nah, we caught all this last year. We got this smoke last year. You can get this work. And then she said, to be fair, we haven't played the Pistons yet. So
So this is just 0-3, 0-6 against Boston and New York?
yes.
Oh no.
So if they lose, and I'm actually looking up to see if they have any game. Okay, so luckily they don't have any games with the Pistons on national TV.
No.
But if they did, boy. And to go one step further, the Raptors are 1-9 against the top 4 teams in both conferences combined. Should Raptors fans be concerned about the results against the upper echelon? And again, for those who are wondering why we're going down this rabbit hole, is because the media and rival fans beat the Knicks with this stick all year. Everyone knows 0-10 versus Boston, Cleveland, and Oklahoma City last year.
Remember when they snuck the Lakers in there? When the Lakers briefly were in the top 3?
It was like, the top 4. Yeah, they stuck the Lakers in there. That was nasty work. As my wife texts me. Anyway, so where was I? Oh yeah, so 0-3 versus the Knicks, 0-3 versus Celtics. They haven't played the Pistons. Now, ironically, the one is they literally won on Sunday night against Oklahoma City. That's the one. But as I said earlier, you're going to get this work, but the last thing you want to do is to trick yourself into thinking this team is going to go on a deep playoff run, because this ain't it. This ain't it. So, last one before we get out of here.
Hate it had to be y'all, man.
So the Inside the NBA crew made their All-Star reserves. The 4 of them did. And Nikias Duncan retweeted and goes, how do you even begin to make a pile over Scottie case this year? Because Miss Kenny Smith had Paolo Banchero as one of his East reserves. And I replied to this text and with this tweet with a reminder that this is the same Kenny Smith who said that the Knicks never had the best player on the floor, even when they played Paolo Banchero. So again, the PR is approaching Josh Allen levels for Paolo Banchero. But that's like Paolo Banchero All-Star this season.
I saw I think it's from Josh Aberle. I saw a tweet where it said, pick one between Paolo, Scotty Barnes, and Amen Thompson. And I'm thinking, right? And I said, immediately I said, this is a 2-player race between Scotty Barnes and Amen Thompson for this year. It's a 2-player race. I thought that without hesitation. Without hesitation. We're going to be giving our East reserves. I ain't gonna lie, like I had to go back and forth a couple of times with the East, and in fact, that's why, because I haven't picked my last slot. That's why I've been going back. The West was way easier for me, but yeah, I don't think you can put him this year. I don't think so. When Franz was out, it got spooky. And I think if both of them were healthy the whole year, Franz would be the one that gets that spot over him. Barnes has the argument that he should be the second player selected from the Raptors. Like he should be part of a team that has 2 All-Stars.
Who's the other All-Star from the Raptors?
B.I.
B.I.?
Dog, they're top 3 in the East. He's leading them in scoring.
I also just I don't love Brandon Ingram as a player.
Yeah, look, I gotta throw my hands up. Yeah. Like Scotty Barnes is the annual pick. Like he's like the consensus. He should probably be an all-star on the Raptors, right? He's like the consensus yearly.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this year, because let's also be real. Ain't nobody looking at Darko and EPM and all that shit for All-Star. Let's keep it real. It's about buckets. Some
a lot more than you think. You're not.
Some are. Some are. I mean, if I have to go to a tiebreaker between two people, then I'll look at everything, right? But sometimes I think the eye test might be enough for All-Star.
I don't think Brandon Ingram is an All-Star, but that's just me. And by the way, Jason M makes a good point. Because of the NBA Cup, we will play the Raptors 5 times this season, so we have 2 more matchups against them to put them in the dirt. Because
so even like with the inside guys and their picks, I think it's interesting that Shaq and Charles are still giving Giddey the All-Star nod. Despite what they like, I understand, but I cannot. Like, they've had multiple slides, fam. They just resurrected. And that's another, like, you look at these names and it makes me even more emphatic about Cat being an All-Star this year. I look at the names and I'm like, nah. Yo, I'm not gonna blow it up. I'll save it for the show tomorrow, but there's one stat that I saw when I was doing my research and I said, like, literally, yo, it's an open and shut case. I'll tell you after we're off, so that we don't spoil it. But
actually, don't even tell me. I will.
You want to go in 100% fresh?
Yeah, I'll go. Yeah, 100% fresh. Yeah, like, but then again, listen. Anything Shaq said. Listen, Josh Giddey. Why is he an All-Star? Because like that first 2 weeks of the season, like whatever.
Josh Giddey, like triple double. He goes out there, 20 points, 10 boards, 10 assists. How can you deny him?
Yeah, I don't
can't hold the rest of the team against him. You playing with bums.
Oh, you're hilarious. All right. So that's the social media section. Thanks to everyone who contributed to that. We didn't get no voicemails this week, and I actually checked. So apparently we're not saying enough stuff to piss you off. So I will work on that next week. 641-715-3900, extension 660862. 641-715-3900, extension 660862.
Can I offer a prompt?
Absolutely.
Maybe prompt them this week.
Yes.
If you're watching this week and you want to leave a voicemail, finish this sentence. By the end of the trade deadline, the Knicks better have blank on their team.
There you go. By the end of the trade deadline, the Knicks better have blank on their team. Give us your answers. 641-715-3900, extension 660862. All right. Before we get out of here, one bit of housekeeping. The Knicks, we are hosting a watch party on the 6th of February at 7 p.m. at the world-famous Penn 6, which is on 31st Street between 6th and 7th Avenues in the lovely borough of Manhattan, in the greatest city in the world. They owe us a lick. We gotta go get our lick back. This is basically the game of the year to this point. Hopefully the Knicks are 6 games behind. If they can maintain this winning streak, maybe they can cut that lead to 4 games, maybe even 3. I still think the 1 seed is available. But yes, pull up Penn 6. Friday, February 6th, 7 p.m. The game starts at 7:30. If you want to show up at 5, you can, but ain't no one from Knicks Film School going to be there. So you're on your own. There will be food and drink specials. There will be giveaways. In order to be eligible for these things, you have to RSVP. There is a link there's a link in the flyer, bit.ly/KFS Watch Party DET. You can go to our Instagram. You can go to our. It's pinned in our Instagram. It's pinned on our Twitter. Make sure you RSVP so you can be eligible for the food and drink specials and for the giveaways. Again, next Friday, 7 p.m. Knicks Film School. Shout out to Sophie Dash helping us out with this one again. Penn 6. Be there or be an absolute dweeb. All right. And that's all. Take us home, Jeff.
All right. Thank you for watching another edition of Knicks Film School After School. That's the full name for you, but we call it KFS After School if you're nasty. You already know the vibes. Like this video, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. We got 52 plus subscribers on Twitter. Actually, I think we do. That might have been a Freudian slip, but that might be. But on YouTube, we got 52K strong. Let's double it up. Let's double it up. We looking for the silver plaque, man. Let's do it. We want to be and continue to grow this beautiful Knicks community, and we need you to be a part of it. So if you are listening in audio form to this show, wherever you get podcasts, you get Knicks Film School content. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube, guess what? If you subscribe, we could give you more of this content. Quid pro quo. Let's go. And if you want bonus content, you got the Substack, the Knicks Film School official newsletter penned by Jonathan Macri. And we have the KFS Patreon, where a bunch of the Knicks Film School community gives you even more bonus content. You get film study. You get random articles from time to time from folks that are moved. You even get a part, depending on your tier, you get to be a part of the town halls where you can speak to members of the KFS staff and your fellow Knicks fans. This is I'm telling you, it's a really popular community. You should be a part of it. And anywhere where you're on social media, you tap in Nick, singular, Film School. And you got us covered, man. So that does it for our show. Thank you so much to the live folk for tapping in. Replay gang, we appreciate you. Leave your comments. We will interact. And for Shawn, I'm Jeff. You are amazing. This was After School. Knicks got some big games coming up. You already know the vibes. Let's keep this winning streak going. And please beat the Lakers. Run them fake Laker fans out of Madison Square Garden who pays upwards of $1,500 to see their team get clizapped. Need that. I need that in my life. So do that. Y'all be good. Y'all have an excellent weekend and go Knicks.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777. Massachusetts, call 800-327-5050. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Maryland, visit mdgamblinghelp.org. Not available in all states. Terms apply. See the Fanatics Sportsbook app.